Welcome to another episode of Tracking the Wolves with your voice of the Wolves. That's right, me, Ben Root. Let's take another look back at the week in Northern sports. First up on the gridiron, NSU fell to 1-2 on the season after a tough trek out to Winona State that saw the Warriors walk away the winners 26-7. Northern was outgained in the contest 463 yards to 194 and lost the turnover battle as well 2-1. Kyle Levan got NSU on the board with a 7-yard fourth-quarter touchdown run in relief of Christian McIlvain. Those two quarterbacks combined to throw for just 92 yards in the contest. Channing Barber tied his career high from last week with 11 tackles, which was nice, while Chad Stodero had a solid game on the D-line with 8 tackles and a couple of sacks, and Matt Thorson grabbed an interception for the only turnover caused by NSU. Meanwhile, on the pitch, Northern went 1-1 in their first full weekend of conference play. They edged University of Sioux Falls Saturday 1-0. And then came up just short to Southwest Minnesota State in overtime Sunday at Jerdy Field, 3-2. Sydney Shintaffer scored late against the Cougs, with Anna Bondi picking up a helper on that one. And the Wolves clawed their way back into the game with the Mustangs after being down 2-0. They got a penalty kick goal there in the second half from Shintaffer that counted as the squad's first shot on goal. And then Stephanie Estrada nailed the net in the 88th minute to force overtime, but the Mustangs would end things in the extra period. And finally, your volleyball team for NSU got a couple of road wins, or pardon me, not road wins, one home win, one road win to start conference play this past week. Thursday at the Barnett Center, ladies swept UMary, and then they followed it up Friday with a 4-set triumph up in Minot, North Dakota. Against the Marauder squad, both Tori Bayach and Kelly Schmidt hit the hardwood 11 times and hit at least 500 for the match as well. And then up at the Beavers' place, it was Lauren McCafferty leading the charge with 14 kills, while Holly Vancura dropped in a dozen. And thanks to those numbers, the setter, redshirt freshman out of Warner, Ashley Roselle, was named your NSIC Setter of the Week. That's a look at last week's action for the Maroon and Gold. We'll talk more Northern sports here in just a moment on Tracking the Wolves.
Great team means you know your role and you work your role to the best of your ability. If you're consistently going to show up and be your best, you're going to be part of that team. You can see the success they have over time. It's not just 1 year flash in the pan. It's consistent success over time, which makes them great. And that's where the work ethic comes in. The ability to come into work, do the same thing repeatedly day after day after day, and putting your best foot forward is going to separate you from the rest.
Choose the experts. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
Welcome back to Tracking the Wolves, talking a little soccer on this edition of the show, and joined by a pair of junior transfers here on the program, both defenders. And, both heights. One on the taller end here was Sydney Shintaffer, nearly the tallest on the team, and the smallest on the team, Alexis Lewis, joining us on the show as well. Thanks for coming on Tracking the Wolves. As we get to know the girls a little bit more, both of them JUCO transfers or college transfers. Sydney came in from Washington. You're originally from Washington, West Richland there, and went to Eastern Washington University, where I guess they're most famous for that red field. How bright is that field, by the way, in person? Is it pretty bad, or?
It's pretty bright. I mean, I didn't play on it very much, so I don't really know.
You guys got your own facility out there then?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it real grass, or did you guys play on turf?
We had real grass. It was we had our own soccer facility out there.
Did I know Coach Kemp prefers playing on the real grass? Was that one reason you came out here? Is you get that opportunity, or?
Yeah. I mean, I've only really played on grass, but it's a lot better than turf for my body, at least.
Now, you're both defenders. Defensively out there. Lexi, what's the difference between you two as far as, do you have different positions, or what are you two responsible for out there on the field?
Well, our number one priority is to get the ball out of the back so that the other team doesn't score goals. I make more runs probably than Sydney on the outside, but she's there to basically clear the ball if we miss it.
So more runs. Some of us, yours truly included, not super familiar with all the terms. What would a run be?
Like a overlapping run for the midfield if we don't have width on the outside when we are crossing the ball in.
Well, that just sounded more confusing.
So basically we just run up whatever side we're on the field. We just run up when we have the ball on offense.
Okay, so you're more supportive on offense.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. Sorry, I apologize for all the people that watch a lot of soccer out there, and I do watch some, but the terms just right over my head. So, now Sydney, we talked to from Washington here, and out of Laurel, Montana is Lexi, which oddly enough is like a half hour away from Absaroka, where my wife is from. Oddly enough, closest town for you is Billings. What should we know about kind of your neck of the woods there in Montana?
There's a lot of mountains. And Laurel, where I live, is almost part of Billings, so we're all just one big community almost.
Is it kind of spreading out a lot more, kind of like Sioux Falls is here with all the small towns around? Or?
Yeah, it's just like one big town basically. I would say Laurel's almost a subdivision now.
It's kind of same in Omaha really nowadays. As far as west is Richland, right? West Richland. You're right there on the Columbia, kind of one part there in the gorge. What's your favorite thing to do back in that neck of the woods?
My family boats a lot, so I mean I've grown up like water skiing and wakeboarding and stuff, so that's what we do. It's really nice year round, so it's not like South Dakota at all.
You ever go out there and go, was it kiteboarding and stuff on the river? Or?
No, I have never done that.
I think that's something they do. I remember seeing do stuff like that. You ever get to check out like Multnomah Falls and that area? Or?
No, I haven't.
Well, it's just the river's nice either way, no matter where you're at there. Columbia Gorge, pretty sweet. This past week, a couple of conference games for you with Sioux Falls. Got a nice late win there, and Sydney had the game winner on that one. What were you kind of thinking late in that game when you're getting down to kind of end of regulation there?
Well, we had a free kick, and I told Allison Bird, the defender, to take it and just look back post because I've been like losing the defenders pretty easy, but if not, then just to rip a shot. And so she listened to me, and then Bondi came in and got a deflection, and I was just like right there at the right time. So it was kind of a good little goal because we really needed to get a win from that game.
So you got that one, and then got a goal on a penalty kick yesterday that I tuned in just in time to see. What's your kind of approach on a penalty kick? Is there anything particular you try to do?
I just really just put the ball down and bang it to the side of the net, just where the goalie can't get it.
And this season, 3 goals for you on just 5 shots on goal. You feeling like coach needs to move you forward, or are you happy with defense?
No, I like defense. I mean, I think our back line is pretty stacked this year, and so just for us to keep working together, we're probably gonna be one of the best back lines in this league this year, I think.
Well, so far so good. Just the one loss, but a lot of good defensive games. That's the first game this year you've given up more than a goal, if I remember right, too. So, Lexi, no goals for you yet this year, but you had an assist last season. Are you hoping to get more involved on that side, or are you happy to be in the back posting these shutouts?
It kind of goes both ways. I'm fine with the shutouts, but it'd be nice to get up there and get some assists or maybe even a goal.
Well, had one last year. Like I said, you get up there on those runs. Hey, there you go, using those terms. So you got a chance there. As far as the school goes, both of you are into the junior season and both transfers. What's the main difference you've noticed since moving across here to the D2 level?
Probably just like I don't know, everything's a higher level here. So like the classroom work is harder here. Our practices are a lot harder. Training on and off the field, like we have lifting in the mornings this year. My body can definitely feel the difference.
Yeah, but on the bright side, you were at Sheridan Community College. So you're in Wyoming, right?
Yep.
Okay, there's another place I lived, and if you've never lived in Wyoming, just it's difficult that whole altitude thing, right?
Yeah. Sheridan wasn't terrible, but I'm not really a fan of Wyoming.
Hey, I got a fan on my team, yeah. Yeah, I'm in that group. I won't move back there, that's all I'm saying. And like we mentioned, you came from Eastern Washington. What's kind of the difference from that level here to Northern?
Really, there's not that much difference. This league is, I would say, like, could compete in the Big Sky. I know, like, Mankato and Augie and even us, we can compete with some of those teams. Just like we're just doing about the same things, lifting every single day and just practicing, and definitely when you're playing every single minute, your body definitely feels it. So me and Lex definitely have to do a lot of rehab.
So they're getting ready, resting up here this week as much as Coach will let them, of course, and hitting the road and getting a home contest this weekend. And we'll talk about that schedule coming up here in just a few. Thanks for coming on the show, you two.
Thank you.
Sydney Shintaffer and Alexis Lewis here on the Tracking the Wolves. We'll talk about the upcoming schedule in full in just a moment.
NCAA championships are something special.
Filled with memories we will carry with us for the rest of our lives.
We ask that you cheer hard for your institutions.
Acting responsibly and courteously towards those around you.
In the spirit of sportsmanship, enjoy the game, and let's provide our student athletes, coaches, officials, and fellow fans the respect they deserve.
Welcome back to Track the Wolves. Let's check your upcoming slate of contests for your Northern State squads. It's a busy week coming up on the volleyball court at the Barnett Center. NSU will host MSU Moorhead on Tuesday. They'll bring in Augustana University Friday, and then Wayne State comes to town on Saturday. Both of those teams, Friday, Saturday, are ranked squads. I'll broadcast that Friday night contest against the Vikings at ESPN 1420-1071 with a 7 o'clock first serve. Soccer squad will play its first road NSIC match coming up on Friday. They'll be visiting St. Cloud for that one. And then after a Saturday off, they'll host Duluth on Sunday at Jurdy Field. The two cross-country teams will take a trip to the Twin Cities for the annual Roy Griak invite. That's coming up on Saturday as well. And finally, your Wolves football team will wrap up the cross-division play as they host Concordia University St. Paul Saturday, 1 o'clock at Swisher Field. And as usual, I'll have the call on that one as well on ESPN 1420-1071 and ESPNAberdeen.com. That's going to do it for this episode of Track the Wolves. To keep up to date on all the latest in Northern sports, join me again next week right here. But till then, as always, go Wolves.